let's talk about why the 49ers offense still isn't good. So you got Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, Elijah Mitchell, Ray McLeod, Juwan Jennings, all healthy, 22 points against a bad team. Really struggled to run the ball against the worst run defense in the league. The Niners were so confident all week that they were just going to run the ball down the Chargers' throats, just bully them. Didn't work. Christian McCaffrey got shut down. Elijah Mitchell did not. He was really powerful in the fourth quarter, but really what happened was the Chargers are so depleted. The Niners killed them in the time of possession. They were exhausted. But even an exhausted Chargers defense shut down Christian McCaffrey in the fourth quarter. It was Mitchell who won that game for the Niners. They would not have won this game without Elijah Mitchell. He is one of the main reasons they won. Wouldn't have won without him. And so my question is, how could the Niners have all this premium talent on offense and still be not good? Especially when the quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, is playing well. What is the deal? Well, the deal is Kyle Shanahan. And what's funny is he still hasn't found an identity for his offense this year. Maybe it's because he lost Mike McDaniel. But last year, in the past, the identity was run the ball and throw to Kittle. Last year, the identity was get the ball to Deebo Samuel by any means possible. This year, that's not working. Deebo's having a bad year, not a good year. And Kyle Shanahan made the decision a few weeks ago that he needed to trade for Christian McCaffrey to save the season. And it looked like a good trade against the Rams. But today, he got utterly shut down. And what you notice is that as good of a player as Christian McCaffrey is, he doesn't fit the 49ers' identity on offense. The Niners want to be the most physical offense in the league. Jeff Wilson Jr. fit that. Elijah Mitchell sure as hell fits that. Every running back, except for Christian McCaffrey, fits that identity. Christian McCaffrey, great player. But he's not going to get you the tough yards between the tackles, especially with a lead late in the game. He's more of a scat back that you can get on the edge, in space, throw screens to. You can line him up in the slot. There's so many things you can do. But is he improving their run game? No. You could say he might be improving their pass game, or you could say he's taking targets away from wide receivers who could get the ball further down the field. So I think the Niners have an identity crisis on offense because while Kyle Shanahan, instead of just featuring the players who are playing best this year, Ayuk, Mitchell, Jeff Wilson Jr., Kyle wants to feature Deebo, who's a shell of himself, and Christian McCaffrey, who's been on the team for a minute and a half and frankly doesn't fit the identity that Kyle Shanahan has built here. So he hasn't figured out the right way to use McCaffrey. Today he had to pretty much bench McCaffrey in the fourth quarter. So now you've traded like half a draft for a backup running back, a scat back, someone who's going to get 12, 13 carries a game and 5 targets and play second fiddle to Elijah Mitchell who runs harder? And you're still just going to score 22 points? That's strange to me. So until Kyle Shanahan figures out what this offense is going to be, they're going to continue to struggle in the red zone. They're going to continue to struggle scoring points. And they're going to say, well, we moved the ball well. We had some mistakes. We're really good offense. No, it's all about how many points you score. And last year, the Niners became a good offense in the second half of the season because they figured out that if they hand the ball to Deebo, he would score at least one touchdown a game. Well, where's the cheat code this year? All I know is that Jeff Wilson Jr. was phenomenal today in Miami. I mean, you could argue that Jeff Wilson Jr. is a better fit in the Niners offense and is having a better season than Christian McCaffrey. Nothing against Christian McCaffrey. But you had a good running back who runs really freaking hard. Now you got Elijah Mitchell who runs really freaking hard. Mitchell and Wilson would have been a terrific 1-2 punch that fit the Niners' identity, and they're cheap. Now you got to find a way to incorporate Christian McCaffrey, who's a little bit different, and forge a new identity. And they haven't done it yet. And they got 8 weeks to figure it out. And they don't have Mike McDaniel here. You can't blame. I mean, yeah, Mike McGlinchey's terrible, and the Niners can't really run to the right side anymore. But the offensive line isn't killing them. The weapons are not killing them. The quarterback isn't killing them. It's this coach who doesn't know what he wants to do on offense. He has all these weapons and doesn't know what to do with them. And this is what I said before they traded for Christian McCaffrey. I said, you already have a ton of talent on offense. Kyle can't make it work. It's like you have all these ingredients and Kyle can't meld them together. And now you add in another expensive ingredient. What's he going to do with it? So we're going to have to see Kyle Shanahan really figure out something that works. Today, give him credit. He figured out, if I'm going to win this game, I'm riding with Elijah Mitchell. I don't care that I traded for Christian McCaffrey and that people are probably going to bring up the fact that he didn't play well today and that maybe that trade wasn't super necessary. He did what he had to do to win. I'm curious if he's going to keep doing that, though, because he needs to keep using Elijah Mitchell. He runs harder than Christian McCaffrey. He's tougher to tackle than Christian McCaffrey. He gets more yards after contact than Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey, better receiver. And I feel like this trade for McCaffrey just allowed Kyle Shanahan to ignore the real issue, which is himself. The issue is he needs to figure out what he wants to do with this offense now that Mike McDaniel's gone. Just adding another running back who's different, has a different style, doesn't necessarily fix everything. Kyle Shanahan still needs to look in the freaking mirror. And what is the Niners' offense? They don't have an offense. A bunch of motion? A bunch of pre-snap motion. I mean, what is the purpose of all the pre-snap motion? You have matchup advantages all over the field. Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. I mean, you don't need to have everyone running like a half a mile before the freaking snap to get someone open. Just line up and play. Kyle's so cute with his offense when he's paid all this money and draft capital for premium players. Would you just line up and let him play and get out of the way? Kyle's the problem. And you thought, oh, okay, well, he beat the Rams. He got McCaffrey. He's got a bye week. He's going to figure it out. No, he hasn't. I'm starting to feel like he's not going to figure it out. And the person who would have figured it out is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. So good thing the 49ers have terrific defense and special teams. Well, let's say defense. I'm starting to feel like this offense may not necessarily come around. Like, is Kyle Shanahan magically going to get good ideas? You give him Debo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, he can't figure out how to leverage them to make each other better? What a genius. Kyle doesn't get CMC outside, same with Debo. Yeah, he just runs in between the tackles. Same way he does with Trey Lance. Team has too much offensive talent for this production. Shanahan is always a lesser coach than his rookie defensive coordinators. That says all you need to know. Says Steve, agree. Rick says Kyle doesn't trust Jimmy to throw the ball on 2nd and 3rd and long, and that's why their offense sucks. Jimmy did a good job on 3rd and long all season. The key to fixing this offense is changing 69 out. It did do wonders last year. It's November. Wins matter. Peaking now doesn't. All right. Well, the Niners started to peak in November last year. So if they could peak at some point, that would be great. Because they haven't even approached like a foothill. What happened to our play-action game? Oh, I think we talked about that. It's gone. It doesn't exist. And it's gone. Larry T says this offense needs to watch tape of Montana Young Super Bowl runs to understand how many points can be scored with this type of talent. Yeah, man, if Bill Walsh had this talent, you'd think they'd be... If Mike McDaniel had this talent, they'd be putting up 40 points. Darian Diaz highlight says 2 things stood out. They need to get Kittle, Juice, and Jennings the ball. Those dudes run with an attitude, and the team feeds off it. Yup. I feel you on that. Jennings definitely does. He was good. How many drive-killing mistakes does Jake Brendel get to make before he gets run out of town? Jeff Wilson fumbled twice while averaging 5 yards per carry. Yeah, Jake Brendle's so bad. He's really bad. Who could have seen that coming?